So what if you want to convert between the two? Let's say you have something in degrees and you have a number in radians. If you want to convert back and forth between the two, what do? Degrees, radians. Well, if you've got a number in degrees and you want to convert it into radians, the number is going to get smaller, isn't it? So what we're going to do is, when you go from degrees to radians, you're going to multiply by pi over 180. And if you want to go from radians to degrees, the number's going to get bigger. What you do then is you multiply by 180 over pi. So it's this factor of 180 over pi whenever you want to convert between one or the other. Okay, so try to remember, pi radians is 180 degrees, and from there you can sort of figure out that one, or figure out the conversion. Let's actually try a couple of examples. We've got some values in degrees here, we've got some angles in degrees, we're going to convert these to radians. So how are we going to do this? Remember, I'm not looking at my notes or anything. We've got 60 degrees. What's that when we convert that into radians? Just remember that pi radians is 180 degrees. That main one I said. And then you can work from there. How do I get from 180 to 60? Well, you can think of it this way. You can just divide both sides by 3. Divide both sides by 3. So this is one way to think of it. It's going to be pi over 3. 60 degrees is going to equal pi over 3 radians. Okay? We usually just leave the brackets off them. What's another way you could have done that? Well, you could have thought of it as 60 degrees equals 60. What was that conversion? From degrees to radians, the number is going to get smaller. So we're going to multiply by pi over 180. And then we get some cancelling. Cancel the 0. 6 and 18. 6 goes into 6 once. 6 goes into 18 3 times. That also would have given us pi over 3. And now, after a while, you're going to have these memorized as well, like 60, 45, 30. They're going to convert quickly to radians in your own mind, okay? So you can think of it either way, okay? I kind of like that way, actually. What about this one? 45 degrees. Well, how are we going to do that? 45. How do we get, what's the connection between 45 and 180? Why don't we divide both sides by 2? That would give us pi over 2 radians is 90. Now, how do I get from 90 to 45? Well, that's just dividing by 2 one more time. So we're going to get 45 degrees is going to equal pi over 4 radians. I'll just clearly box our final answers here. So that's how you do that. You can think of it either way, this way or this way. I kind of like that. Just think pi is 180 and then you just work from there. 120. Well, we've already got 60. If 60 degrees is pi over 3, how do I get from 60 to 120? I'm just going to multiply by 2. So pi over 3 multiplied by 2 is just going to be 2 pi over 3. Okay, and you just piggyback off the ones that you already know. 225. Well, this is tricky. 45 to 225. How are we going to get there? What's 45? 45 times what's 225? 45, I know that 45 times 10 is 450. What's half of that? 45 times 5 is 225. That's right? 45 times 5. 5 5 is 25. Carry the 2. 4 5 is 20. 22. Yeah, this is just 5 times this one. So we're just going to multiply this fraction by 5. So it's kind of like a quarter with a pi on the top. Multiply the top by 5. 5 pi on 4 radians. Okay, and there you go. All right, so you just start with that. And then you do some smaller ones and you just piggyback off those to get all the other multiples. So that is converting degrees into radians. Now let's try going back the other way. For example 2, we're going to go from, this time, radians back to degrees. So how do we do this? Well, we do the same thing. So we think, okay, pi radians is 180 degrees, and we just work from there. Pi over 5. How am I going to get pi over 5? Well, I've got pi. How do I get pi over 5? That's just going to be dividing both sides by 5. Oh, okay, so all I need to do is 180 divided by 5. 180 divided by 10 is going to be 18. So what's 180 divided by 5? Well, it's going to be bigger. So we divided by 10, we get that. Divided by 5, it's going to be 36. Okay, or you can actually do the long division there if you like. Pi over 5 is simply 36 degrees. What about 3 pi over 10? Well, we've got pi over 5 is 36. Let's do 10. If I divided both sides by 10, what would I get? Pi over 10 is 18. Oh, there it is, 18. And to get 3 pi over 10, I'm just going to have to multiply this by 3. So what's 18 times 3? 3 8s are 24. Go to 2, 1, 3 is 3. 54 degrees. Okay, so as before, just work from here, okay, and piggyback off all the other values that you get. How am I going to get 5 pi over 6? Well, let's think pi over 6. If I divide both sides by 6, what do I get? So 180, 6 into 180. 6 into 1 can't do. 6 into 18, 6 3s are 18, no remainder, 0. So that's just 30. So pi over 6 is 30 degrees. What's 5 pi over 6? Well, it's going to be 30 times 5. 3 5s are 15 with a 0. 150 degrees. 7 pi over 2, how about that one? Well, what's pi over 2? So divide both sides by 2, 2. Pi over 2 is actually 90 degrees. Okay, so whenever you have a right angle, that's 90 degrees, but that could also be described as pi over 2 radians. Okay, a right angle is pi over 2 radians. So that is pi over 2. What's 7 pi over 2? Well, it's going to be this times 7. So 90 times 7. 7 9s are 63 with the 0 on the end. 630 degrees. So that's a pretty big angle, isn't it? That is larger than 1 revolution. 1 revolution is 360, right? And that's even bigger than that. By the way, what is 1 revolution? If pi radians is 180 degrees, if I multiply both sides by 2, I get 2 pi radians equals 360 degrees. Does that make sense? 360 degrees all the way around 1 revolution is the same as 2 pi radians all the way around 1 revolution.